Hey there, CATF. It is February 14th, or Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all those celebrating. I want to take just a couple minutes and talk about marriage and hopefully encourage you in yours. Marriage, quite honestly, is hard work, but there's a great verse that I love in Proverbs 18. It says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing," or some translations, I think it's a New Living Translation, that says, "He who finds a wife finds a treasure." And I hope you look at your spouse that way, a treasure. But the fact is, our natural inclination is not to find more value in each other and more strength in each other and to drift towards each other. Our natural tendencies are actually to drift apart. And that's why marriages take work, because the natural tendency is to go away from each other. So we need to work to go towards each other. There's a few verses that I think of when I think of marriages. The first one is 1 Corinthians 13 that's read at many different weddings, and it's that one that says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it is not envious, it is not jealous, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it does not keep records of wrongs." And our tendency is to think, to hear that and think, one maybe cheesy because you've heard it so many times, or just think, oh yeah, that's the wedding verse, or things like that, or think, well, that's nice, and that will look good on a greeting card. But the fact is, when you start listing those things, it's not saying love is just some wonderful butterfly feeling in your stomach. It is saying that love is difficult, love is hard, and marriage is difficult. Marriage is hard. Each one of those things that are listed requires work. There's another passage in Ephesians 5 that says wives, submit to your husbands. But then it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. And again, you look at both sides of that. Wives submitting to your husbands, that takes a little bit of work. Husbands loving your wives as much as Christ loved the church. I mean, no matter how much you love your wife, just think of what Christ did for the church. He laid down his life. I mean, that is a lot of work. The fact is, marriages take work. And my prayer, my hope for you guys, and for us as well, is that we would continue to work on our marriage, that it wouldn't be just something that we say, oh, we've done the vows, we've said we love each other, and we'll let you know if anything changes. No. We need to work continuously. So my hope is that as your pastor, that your marriages would strengthen and grow, not because that just happens, but because you continuously work towards it. I was at a wedding one time, and the pastor was talking about this particular type of Corvette, and it was talking about how you can look at it from on the outside and you can appreciate it, but the fact is you don't often know the amount of work that's gone into making that beautiful piece of machinery. It's spent countless hours in wind tunnels and all these things to make it one of the fastest cars of its time. And he said the marriage is very similar to that you can look at a healthy marriage on the outside and just think, oh, that looks great, but you have no idea the amount of work that went into it. So my encouragement to you is that you would take today in particular, but it could be any time, and continuously do something for your marriage, to work at it, to work towards strengthening it, to fight for it, because it so easily can go astray. I want to show you a video that I love from a guy named Jefferson Bethke. We've showed some of his stuff before. He's famous for many things, particularly his incredible talent at spoken word. So there's a video that he does called Sex, Marriage, and Fairy Tales, and he kind of emphasizes this point. But he also ties into what we talked about on Sunday, this whole idea that we are called to be holy, we're called to be Christ. So many times we just strive for a relationship, but we need to keep Christ at the center of our relationship, and especially our marriage. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for your marriages. Please pray for Violet and I as well, because really, the more prayer, the more we work at it, the better our relationships are going to be. So happy Valentine's Day. Take care.
Disney movies and chick flicks, they've put us in a weird position. They've distorted our reality because we forget they're actually fiction. Because in marriage, we either get better or bitter, either joy or remorses. What we're doing isn't working. Just look at the rate of divorces. So how's your marriage? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Marriage seems to some more like a prison than the paradise they were promised. We thought marriage was supposed to fulfill us and make us happy, not lonely. But the truth is, God's first priority is making you holy. You say, no one told me. It feels so odd that dating feels like a vacation while marriage feels like a job. Yet the secret of joy, if we just pull back the facade, is realizing most problems arise when we elevate our spouse to God. Without knowing it, we fulfilled Romans 1:25. By our actions, exchange the truth about God for a lie. We've exchanged God for lesser created things. It's like a husband trading his wife for a 2D image on a screen, hoping it'll set us free, just to find on the fumes we're choking. Because if your marriage rests on anything but Jesus, it's resting in something broken. Yet guys continually sacrifice their marriage on the altar of sex and lust. I mean, if our dollars were honest, they'd stay in pleasure we trust. So men, grow up, put down the controller. How about you lead her with grace instead of trying to control her? Now, I've never been married, but I'm a product of one that was non-existent. So don't tell me I don't understand the pain. Don't tell me I don't get it. So for the singles, become friends first before you ever become lovers. Pursue Jesus as your foundation before you get under the covers. Because believe me, a strong friendship before marriage will make a good marriage after. Marriage isn't just sex. It's conversation and laughter. I mean, some spouses barely even like each other, and the marriage seems like a dead end. You might share a checkbook and a house, but are you actually friends? I mean, if marriage isn't a commitment, then what's the point of the vows we say? Till death do us part really means until the feelings go away. Like, I'll stay with him, but only until it gets tough and my love shifts. But I say, imagine if a parent took that perspective with their kids. Like, can't you see it? The minute the kid spills something on the floor, the mom's saying, forget it. I don't even love you anymore. No, it's just like marriage. To last, you need the strength from above. Because it's not the love that sustains the promise, it's the promise that sustains the love. I mean, think about it. Out of anyone who's actually had the right to leave, God had every reason in the world, yet he still came for you and me. And on the cross, he paid it all, took our shame and set us free. When he could have called down legions of angels, he chose to stay on that tree. From the cross, he looks you in the eye and says, I'm taking this for my bride. When you trust in me, you no longer have to hide. Because of me, it is finished. You've been made new. You're spotless, you're blameless. There's no sin in you. Because his death was a proposal. He wanted you no matter the cost. Where some guys propose on a knee, Jesus proposed on a cross. So read Ephesians 5, whether husband or wife. Wife, honor your husband. Husbands, give up your life. Just like Jesus gave himself up for his bride, the church. So men, lead by serving, by putting her first. So die to self, put your flesh on a life sentence, because you don't fall out of love as much as you fall out of repentance.